The people say it's tough to get old, and he said, no, you have to be tough to get old. I had this sensation of being filled with light and energy to the point that I felt like I was vibrating and my whole body was vibrating and chills were all over. It was a visceral, very powerful experience. And what I heard was, David, stop fretting and just go out, helpful, every person you meet. Having that inner peace allows you to remain healthier and happier for a longer period of time.
Hello, and welcome to the Unleash Your Retirement podcast with your host, David Koren. I'm Wendy McConnell. Well, hey, David, how are you?
I am doing fantastic as usual, Wendy. We're having gorgeous weather. It's a gorgeous blue sky, good temperatures. We're getting a nice little overall high pressure is settling in and it's making everything beautiful out there. So we like that.
Do you moonlight as a meteorologist? I mean, the high pressure stuff. I mean, that's really.
Well, my wife does call me the weatherman at home a lot of times.
Yes.
And every day she'll ask me, David, what's the weather going to be today?
Well, we are having extremely nice weather in our part of the country as well. So I guess everybody's in for a treat right now, at least on the East Coast side, right?
Yeah, for a little while anyway. I think this week's supposed to be nice. So
All right. So that's going to be something to look forward to. What are we going to be focusing on today, David?
I decided I really wanted to talk about something that's real important, that when people retire, as we get old, as anybody gets older, whether you retire or not, one of the things that you often encounter is that a lot of your time is spent, well, I hear it a lot from my clients. All I do is go to doctor's appointments and funerals. Um,
Right.
it is challenging to get older. I think my father-in-law, who unfortunately passed away this year, he said, the people say it's tough to get old, but he said, no, you have to be tough to get old.
Yeah.
You do, and you really have to have the right kind of mindset to be able to live a retirement and have a retirement where all of these things happen and you're able to handle it. Really, how do you do that? Um, and I talk about it in terms. To me, it's the individuals that I work with that have a good inner peace going on because they have spiritually settled themselves into retirement and they feel good about where they are in life. And so no matter what comes their way, and again, I'm not talking about religion here. Okay. So I think there's a lot of good that comes from having some sort of faith or religious faith, whether it's Catholic, Protestant, Muslim, Jewish, whatever it is. But the primary purpose of that is, yes, you do get together with people and talk about some spiritual things, and they're generally like-minded because obviously people gravitate to the different denominations and approaches. And there is some discussion on what your spiritual beliefs are, and you talk about it, but that's not really the reason you're there. It's really socialize.
Right.
I mean, that's the bottom, which is good. I mean, that's great. I talk about how important staying social in retirement is. You do not want to isolate yourself at all. It's very important to be social in retirement and maintain that social connection with others. So I don't want to disparage religion at all. It's great, but I think spirituality is something different. And to me, it's about developing that inner peace, be it through meditation, through affirmations, through prayer, or some other means that you find that will get you there. But it's an inner peace and an inner knowing that you're good with your life and you're okay and you're at peace. And I've seen this happen on my parents' deathbed sometimes. It took them to then to get that inner peace showing up. I say, get it earlier. And it really is, it has to do with this acceptance of your mortality.
Okay.
Okay. It really, That's what I'm talking about here. It's really an acceptance of the fact that this physical body is going to go away at some point, and you can be okay with that. Regardless of what you believe happens afterwards or how it occurs, it's real important to have this peace of mind about that so that you can then handle all of the stuff that comes at you when you age. I mean, let's face it, it's not easy. Like I said, my father-in-law said it's tough to get. You have to be tough to get old. Very true. He was 93, by the way, when he passed this year. So long, healthy life. Um, and that's the other piece of it. I do believe that having that inner peace allows you to remain healthier and happier for a longer period of time, which I think is just absolutely critical for folks to be able to enjoy that long, happy, healthy retirement, which is what I want to see people do. I want people to get to that point in their older years that they are so at peace with where they are, who they are, what they've accomplished in this life, and they're thankful and they have this attitude of gratitude every day, and they're thankful. I mean, sometimes my clients will come out and say, "How you doing?" They say, "I'm glad to be here." And it's sort of funny, but so true. You have to be thankful each day for each day that you get, because let's face it, when you're 75, 80, 85, how many more days do you have? Be grateful for every single one. It would be great if people had that attitude when they were 20, but
Well, that's yeah.
right, but you're immortal when you're 20.
Right, exactly. You think so anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So, in addition to being grateful, like it's not just that easy. I know that. You're going to tell us how we can come we can become at peace with this, right, David? This is what we're talking about today.
That is what we're going to talk about. So, from my perspective, and I can't tell you how everybody else does it, but from my perspective, I use meditation on a regular basis. I go into a meditative state wherein I can, it's for lack of a better word, walk through the veil, okay? Where I have a sense of peace and calm, and I am often experience things in meditation that I would call communication, if you will, where I am being reassured, let's put it that way, about where we're going and what's going to be happening. And from my meditations, at least what I am seeing is that there is no such thing as death for us. So we might believe that, and in fact, the body does go away, but who we are at our core, at our essence, our soul, our whatever spirit, whatever you want to call it, um, does not go away. That we are eternal, that we are a part of, I call it source. You could call it God. You could call it Muhammad. You could call it um, whatever. It's we are a spark of that. And that's never going away. We are eternal in that sense. So that to me is where you get that inner peace. It's that connection with certainty. And I have had experiences in meditation that have brought that certainty to light. So I have no doubt in my mind that we continue and that life goes on and that we should do the best we can here. And that is part of, and we should be grateful for the opportunity that we had to live here on earth. And to me, that's how I do it. Now, other people could do it differently. I mean, I do believe I do pray a lot as well. So I do prayers and affirmations that help to bring that inner peace to me each and every day, because I'm still working and still living this life. But I know that if I'm going to be my best and show up as my best, that I need to have that inner peace built in. And so I do a little check in every day to make sure that I have that, I have brought into myself what I know about life and what I know about what my mission is and what I'm trying to accomplish here and the giving that I want to do. And I think I've shared this story many times with my team and not everybody out there, but I do talk about it a lot. When I was a younger person and really struggling in life, um, like we're talking late 20s, early 30s, um, I had this just visceral experience where I broke down because things were not going well in my life back then, as often is the case for young people. So this could be something could be shared with young people out there. I was literally in tears and just really surrendered myself because I was on that, I'm literally on that cusp of do I even want to be alive kind of thinking, which is not a good place to go. But at that time, that's what was happening. And I was literally touched. And when I mean touched, I mean literally, I had this sensation of being filled with light and energy to the point that I felt like I was vibrating and my whole body was vibrating and chills were all over me. It was a visceral, very powerful experience. And what I heard was, David, stop fretting and just go out and be helpful with every person you meet. Help them. Know that you can help them. Believe that you can help them and offer up whatever you can when you meet with them or see whoever you come in contact with. And that felt wonderful to me. That the feeling I came away from that was just so much joy, so much light. Um, and that literally from that day on, that's really when my career began. I mean, it literally took off. My life literally took off. And I've adapted that to sort of say that's sort of our approach to working with clients is that just however you can help in that meeting, whatever word, whatever good word, kind word uh, that you can offer, listen to where they are and offer some help. You have that mindset. If you can walk away from a meeting that way, you've done a good thing. You've done the work that you're being sent here to do. We don't always know exactly what it is that we're supposed to be doing. But if we go in with this mindset of being a servant to others and being loving and kind in our interactions with others, always, you take that approach to life and your life will be good to you. And you will be very happy on the inside. You'll have that inner peace. Um, and so I that's well, that's a little more than I wanted to go into today, but I think it's helpful. I think it's appropriate for me to share that. And I've had to go back to that because I had that experience, and yes, my life has been great, but there have been times when I drifted away and had to recenter and come back and say, okay, hey, all right, let's get back on the servant mindset going forward here because that where you were going is that thinking's not good.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and that's why I've learned to try and have this daily process that I go through of prayer and affirmation and meditation to really, and since the meditation doesn't have to be long, it'd be 10 or 15 minutes. Um, and there's hundreds of different programs out there to learn how to meditate, by the way. If you're not familiar with meditation, it's really to me just a form of prayer,
Okay.
but there's plenty of ways out there. Now, I happen to like the use of sound technology to assist in getting into the right meditative state. So I use the Monroe Institute's. They have an app called Enhance that I'm giving a plug for them, I guess. An app that I use called Enhance that really is helpful for me for finding good meditative programs that I use with headphones like these put on, and then you get the sound does help you your mind get into the right mode. It gets into that theta kind of brainwave technology. And it's really beneficial to me. I find that very, very helpful to helping me with my meditation processes. So, but there's other apps out there. There's lots of ways to go about doing this. There's lots of people that are out there promoting meditation. I know um, there's so Tony Robbins has some people that work with him. Master Cho, I think is the guy's name. And then there's Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's really got a wonderful meditation program. There's um, Deepak Chopra, who has wonderful meditation pro. So there's a lot of ways to access this material and information if you haven't already done so. So if you're struggling and you want some help, these are resources that I'm mentioning that you can go to, um, and I find them all very helpful and beneficial. I get to change up my meditation practices sometimes because of that, which is helpful to me, um, and I can focus in on certain things that I might be working on at that particular time, helping me make decisions about things and looking for that inner guidance to help me make the right decision in situations, especially big life decisions. So that last piece, this is sort of like when you think about all of the podcasts that I've done, we start off in the very beginning where we're really trying to just say, look, you need to really have a good handle on what your lifestyle is going to be in retirement. That's your first goal in terms of planning retirement. It's not the money, it's the lifestyle. What do you want to be doing? How do you want to be living? What's going to bring you joy? What's going to bring you happiness? How can you give joy? How can you give happiness? So, the giving part. What's really important to you and that you're passionate about? That's the first step.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about that in my classes when I teach my classes, but also um, even with clients, because that's really the first thing we do in the planning process is get a understanding of the lifestyle goals of that particular client. And then we look at, after we know all that, then we will look at how do we support that financially? Because it's sort of silly that you get the finances ahead of the cart. You need to get the lifestyle clear, and then you can decide how you support that financially. Um, and and I also talk a lot about the importance of socializing, the importance of maintaining good health and exercise. That's why I've done the podcast about with pickleball, which, by the way, if you haven't learned how to play, strongly recommend you go out and do that
Mm-hmm.
because it's great exercise and it's a way to socialize at the same time.
It's great for social activity. I've met literally hundreds of people through pickleball.
I have too, and so has my wife, and we just love it. So
Yep.
we play at different courts wherever we go. If we travel, we play at new courts just for the opportunity to meet new people.
Yeah.
And it's really great. So it's a great way to do that and stay active. And I also just want to just stress that just walking, hiking especially, is extremely good for your health. And anybody really can do this. So if you haven't been doing anything, and you've retired, just get out and walk, to start. Maybe that's all you can. That's actually all you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to walk. You need to stay moving. Don't lose that physical aspect because that's so important to your happiness as well in retirement. And then the last thing that we've just talked about today is really make sure that you've established that inner peace for yourself as you enter retirement so that you can handle all of the difficult things, the loss of friends, the loss of family, health challenges, physical changes, all of this stuff that you have to deal with, that you're going to have that inner peace to be able to gracefully move through those challenges, remain happy, um, keep your peace, and be the grateful servant that you are born to be. And I believe everybody's born to be a grateful servant in many ways. So um, I don't know, if I've given you the crystal ball on how to obtain that inner peace, because and I don't want to say that doing it my way work. It's everybody's so different and has different upbringings and backgrounds, and there's many ways to get there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I always think about that. There's many rooms in my house. What is that? That's I think from the New Testament. Jesus says something about there's many rooms in my. I almost feel like there's many ways to find a room. I
Right.
sort of like to rephrase. There's many ways to get there. There's lots of rooms, and there's many ways to get there. And so find your path, whatever that might be, and get there because it's really worth it for your own personal happiness, to have that sense of inner calm,
Hmm.
inner inner certainty, inner calm and inner certainty, that you can achieve, and it's available to you. All you have to do is look inside. It's not out there. It's not out somewhere else. It's inside of you. We are, like as I said earlier, we are all a spark of source. That's what we are. We're not, and so therefore, the answers are inside. They're not outside. And so look in and find the best way for you to do that and gain that clarity that you need to find that inner peace, that inner calm, that inner joy, to make your retirement years just the best time of your life, because they should be.
Absolutely. I wanted to mention one thing about the when you were talking about meditation. I wasn't a good meditator, so to speak, but I started doing guided
Hmm. Yeah.
meditation,
Yeah.
which really just changed everything for me because I was like, oh, for some reason, it never even occurred to me to do a guided meditation. And that way it didn't just, it wasn't all on me. I could just put somebody else on and they would be like, go through everything and it was such a relief.
Yeah, the all of the apps that I use, the Enhance app and even Joe Dispenza, they're all doing lots of guided meditations. There's lots of those, and what's nice about I like the sound technology with the guided meditation because that's even more powerful for me anyway. Because I do a lot of guided meditations
Okay.
on specific topics. Um, I also do just my own meditation. Especially if I'm not in a position to put the headphones on and listen. I can do it. I can meditate on my own. I've
Hmm.
learned how to do that. So there's a way to get there. But I know that when I do the guided meditations or using the sound technology to help with the process, I tend to go a lot deeper when I have those opportunities, and I find it so more satisfying. So yeah, I would recommend those types of sound technologies to anyone. Again, I'll mention the Monroe Institute. You can look them up online. Um, they have a lot of programs there, but also they have that Enhance app that I mentioned, that you can get. I mean, there's a small annual cost to that, but it's not much. And they have great guided meditation programs. They also have great just sound technology that you can do for a period, whatever period of time that you want to meditate in. I use that quite often where I need to do 10 or 15 minutes. I can plug in and just do the sound only and have a great meditative experience. It's good for your heart. It's good for your body. Um, and it really does help your health. So that's been proven. I can, without a doubt, the meditation really does help your health. So, and that's obviously a big concern when we get up over age 70, we're worried about our health. We think about it. And I say that because I'm so close myself. So, so I'm there. So I'm already concerned, and thinking about it. So, um, just a great way to stay calm. So just, remember these steps. And again, I get back to us trying to be as helpful as possible. I don't think every advisor is going to talk to you about spirituality and retirement. A little unusual, I know, but I believe it's important. And honestly, I've had these types of conversation with many clients, not all of them, but many, where we have had this little bit of a discussion, especially if people ask or, bring it comes up or something like that, because it often does.
Hmm.
That is how deep we go in terms of trying to work with clients to understand where they're coming from, what their goals and objectives are, and how we can support them in those endeavors.
Okay. Well, I mean, and it just goes along with you trying to help
Right.
as you go along and trying to help as many people as you possibly can. So good for you, David.
Well, that's what we all should be striving for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so David, people have more questions for you. How do they go about getting in touch?
Just go to our website, rvawealthmanagement.com, and give us their phone numbers there. There's a way to schedule appointments. So you can do a 20-minute Ask Anything call. Whatever reason you want to talk to me, or anybody on my team, just give us a shout, send us an email, and we will be happy to answer questions and do the best we can to help you out.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for listening today. Please like, follow, and share this podcast with your friends. Until next time, I'm Wendy McConnell.